Greetings, Poke fans! Michael here. So my throat still isn't back to 100%, so because of that, I have drank more hot tea in the last week than I have in my entire life up to this point. It is untea-leafable. This video is sponsored by Best Fiends Forever. Best Fiends Forever is a free-to-download brand new app game that is the sequel to the original Best Fiends game, and the second in a trilogy actually. Best Fiends Forever has the same characters and story as the original Best Fiends game, but the gameplay is completely new. Best Fiends Forever is a clicker adventure game where you can slap evil slugs, collect items, and level up pretty much everything in order to make it as far as you can, as fast as you can. And I've played it some and highly recommend it. It's really fun if you want hours of fun on your phone. If you want to download this really cute and fun game, be sure to click the link down in the description below and download it completely for free. Let me know how far you get in the comments below, because I'm having a ton of fun playing it. But now on to the video. For today's top 10, I decided to do something a bit different. There are some Pokemon in the Pokemon world that are really cute that you want to just snuggle up to and hug, and there are others that are really cool looking that you'd want to ride gloriously into battle with. However, there are others in the Pokemon world that you wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. So today, I'm going to be talking about those Pokemon by counting down the top 10 most disgusting Pokemon. Now, I do want to say that just because a Pokemon is on this list doesn't mean that I dislike it. Several of these Pokemon I actually like a lot as drawings or images on a screen. But in real life, I probably would not want to touch them or maybe not even look at too hard. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, and without further ado, here are the top 10 most disgusting Pokemon. Number 10. Coughing and Wheezing. I put both Coughing and Wheezing in this spot because they're both here for the same reason. They're gas. Coughing and Wheezing are germ-shaped balloons that are filled with nothing but toxic, foul-smelling gases that have the potential to explode. They're essentially fart bombs, which is gross. Now, while stinky gases are gross, I personally decided to keep Coughing and Wheezing lower on this list because while foul gases aren't pleasant, there are other substances out there that are much more nauseating and unpleasant to deal with. In simpler terms, farts can be funny, and most of the other things that these other Pokemon create or do are not. Number 9. Latios. Just kidding. Number 9. Licky. Remember how I said that I didn't necessarily dislike the Pokemon on this list? Well, I dislike Licky. A lot. Back in my top 5 worst original 151 Pokemon video, I talked about how Lickitung is a really poor design that's also pretty uncomfortable, and Licky is just an advanced version of that. However, what makes Licky gross isn't the fact that it has a stupid design, it's the fact that it has a giant tongue hanging out all the time that gets drool and saliva everywhere. I personally am not a fan of super slobbery dogs licking me in the face, and Licky would be 5 times worse than that, and make me numb. Licky isn't that high on this list though, because after all, humans exchange spit on a regular basis, but I still don't want to get anywhere near one. Number 8. Galvan Shula. Admittedly, if there was a cockroach Pokemon, it would be in this spot on this list, but since there's not, a spider is next up, because spiders are still really gross and unsettling. And since Galvan Shula is a giant yellow one, it makes it so much worse than a regular spider. Could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night to see this thing crawling around your room? No way, man. That is terrifying and nasty. Also, I should mention that I chose Galvan Shula over Ariados here simply because I think hairy spiders are grosser than non-hairy spiders. The non-hairy ones are just plain terrifying. Number 7. Sliggoo. I've said before that middle evolutions are oftentimes the awkward puberty stage of a Pokemon throughout its lifespan, being halfway between cute and badass. Sliggoo is a prime example of this. Goomy is a cute little blob, and Goodra is a cute yet strong-looking dragon slug thing. Sliggoo, however, just looks goofy and pretty gross. But what makes Sliggoo gross isn't due to the fact that it looks gross, but it's the fact that it is constantly secreting and covered in slime. Everywhere this thing goes, it leaves a trail of slime that just gets everywhere, and it seems to have less control over its oozing than its other evolutions. If you got anywhere near a Sliggoo, you'd probably end up covered in slime that can supposedly dissolve anything. Imagine being in an area that a Sliggoo has slithered all over, with everything covered in slime and half dissolved. That's disgusting. Number 6. Scumtank. First off, look at this sprite. That's weird, and pretty gross. But that weird sprite isn't the only gross thing about Scumtank. Being based off of skunks, Scumtank can shoot a foul-smelling liquid from the tip of its tail, and it can shoot that liquid up to 160 feet. Obviously, the liquid itself is pretty gross, but the fact that it can shoot that liquid in such a large radius means that one Scumtank could leave an area of land that's pretty sizable completely uninhabitable for quite some time, simply because the stench is just too disgusting. Number 5. Victreebel. At first glance, Victreebel isn't particularly repulsive. It's just an intense looking pitcher plant with leafy hands and angry eyes. But what makes Victreebel truly disgusting is what you can't see just from glancing at it. Victreebel swallows its prey whole and melts it, bones and all. Obviously, that's pretty gross. But what makes Victreebel exceptionally disgusting is the fact that if you just peer over the top of it, you can look in and see its partially digested prey just sloshing around. I don't even want to think about what that would look like because I know it would be horrifyingly disgusting. Number 4. Dilly. Remember how I was just talking about how you can just peer over the top of a Victreebel and look in and see its partially digested prey? Well, it turns out that Dilly and Victreebel actually have a lot in common, since both are grass-type Pokemon that melt their prey. But Dilly is a step up from Victreebel on the disgusting meter because Dilly doesn't do its digesting inside a pitcher that you can only see into on the top. Dilly actually secretes digestive fluids from its phallic tentacles and melts its prey outside of its body. So if you happen to be near a Dilly while it's feeding, you will witness a terrifyingly disgusting scene in plain sight. Number 3. Swalot. Swalot is similar in grossness to Victreebel and Dilly because it also digests its prey all at once by just melting them. However, Swalot is grosser in my opinion due to its method of eating. Victreebel's prey just goes in the top of it. Dilly's prey just gets wrapped up by tentacles. But Swalot just shoves its prey in its mouth. Have you ever seen a snake trying to eat a piece of food that's larger in diameter than itself? It's gross. So just imagine Swalot trying to do that, and at the same time stomach acids are leaking out because its entire body is its stomach. Just think about what that would look like. In addition to that, Swalot sweats. It sweats poison. Swalot will be scarfing down prey, digesting it along the way, while toxic fluid is excreted from its pores. That's nasty. Number 2. Muck. Muck is a pile of sludge, which is obviously pretty gross. In fact, it's so liquidy and sludgy that it's got that one strand connecting across its mouth, which makes it look even grosser. But muck isn't just a gross-looking pile of, well, muck. It smells absolutely rancid, or as the Pokédex describes it, nose-bendingly horrible. Muck smells so bad that the Pokédex had to make up a phrase to describe it. Muck also just causes death around it. Plants that it touches die, and people who touch it get poisoned horribly, although apparently Professor Oak is immune to that. But regardless, Muck just slides around, killing all the plant life and leaving a terrible smell, which obviously leads to a pretty disgusting scene. Alolan Muck isn't as gross as regular Muck, mainly due to the fact that it no longer smells bad since it stores toxins within its body. Plus, solidified toxins are a lot less gross than liquid or gas ones. But even so, it's still kinda gross since seeing any sentient pile of goo is probably gonna make me feel fairly disgusted. Number 1. Gar Boater. Gar Boater has gotten a lot of criticism for being the garbage Pokemon, but whether or not you think it's a good idea, you have to acknowledge that its concept is just gross. Its entire body is made up of garbage. Think about what you throw away. Tissues covered in boogers, rancid rotten eggs, dog poop, all of that and more is part of Gar Boater's body, and that is disgusting. But not only that, this thing takes the garbage that it's absorbed and creates poisonous, terrible smelling liquids and gases that it either shoots out of its hand or, somewhat poetically, belches. Everything about Gar Boater's activities and body is just plain gross, and therefore it is very deserving of its spot as the most disgusting Pokemon of all time. So there we have it. Those are the top 10 most disgusting Pokemon of all time. Now just make sure you remember, just because these Pokemon might be pretty gross, that doesn't mean that they're not deserving of your love. Except for Licky. Screw Licky. What did you think of this video? Do you agree with my list? What are some other Pokemon that you think are disgusting? Let me know in the comments below! And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe for more fun Pokemon content of all kinds. Alright, that's all I have for now, so be sure to go download Best Fiends Forever, and until next time, Poke fans, gotta catch them all!